I'm searching the web for the latest gaming news. Searching GameZillaMedia.com. Downloading headline.
Alexander, what about this monster story of yours?
Download complete.
Okay, topic number one.
It's my new catchphrase, man. I'm just trying it out. I'm trying things.
I liked it so much I stole it already. Okay, topic number one is Google. Is it Stadia?
Stadia.
Woo, wow. So we knew that there were rumors and that Google was potentially going to be bringing their breaking news of them getting into the gaming industry at GDC, and they didn't waste any time. They came right out at the beginning of the show and dropped a ton of news about this new platform. And I want to cover some basic overview, and then we just have one topic that we really want to discuss on this main piece of our show. So basic overview. Google Stadia. There is no box.
So it doesn't. There's nothing you buy.
There is only the controller.
So it doesn't have a console. It's not a stream stick.
Nope. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a controller with a Wi-Fi connection directly to Google's data centers via Wi-Fi connection.
Okay.
A lot of people obviously have concern with streaming services that we've dealt with. PlayStation Now and some of your other smaller ones. Internet connection and what you're going to get, right? So 25 megabyte internet connection is going to get you 1080p 60 frames per second at launch. 30 megabytes 4K 60 frames per second at launch.
That seems really accessible. I know
it's not terrible. I mean, there's places that this are going to be a problem, but I mean, when we think of our situation where we live, yeah, this is not bad at all, considering I think right now I'm pushing 600 down and 60 up.
So what you're saying is I could VPN into your home, use your internet to stream these games.
100%, yeah, I guess you could.
Nope.
You could try it.
All right, I'm gonna
just get a good VPN service. But no, and then the future is they want to work on getting this down even more, where it would require even less for these, and then eventually offer an 8K 120 frames per second option. So, how do they do this? This is where a little bit of the geek comes in here, but it's all data centers, right? It's all Google has infrastructure around the world, and they're using it, and they're teaming up with these companies, and they're building Stadia instance, right? It's a virtual machine, it's a VM, and each instance is a 2.7 gigahertz, 64-bit, 16 gigs of RAM, with a custom AMD GPU graphics card, pushing 10.7 teraflops.
Teraflops.
So what does that mean to you? It means it's more powerful than a PS4 Pro and an Xbox One X combined.
That's a lot of flops.
And it's a virtual machine. It doesn't even technically really exist. It sits on a blade, and you're just one of millions of these that are going to be running. So power-wise, it is very impressive, and that's pushing all of that across an internet connection back to this controller. Games will be streamable across laptops, desktops, TVs, tablets, and phones, and we saw that all happen smooth, flawlessly on stage. Google showing it off.
Also a Chromecast. If you have a Chromecast.
Yeah, and so I mean the TV, if it's not built in, that's the one thing you would need to be able to put it onto a TV. Yeah. So, YouTube integration. Stadia users can capture and share straight to YouTube, or even let viewers play alongside creators. A crowd play feature of Stadia is designed to facilitate this function, and it includes a lobby system to let you match up with YouTube content creators. This to me sounds really weird, and I don't know how it actually works, because for the small streamers that have 5-10 people watching them, you're like, yes, people can jump in and play, but it's tough for you because you kind of are trying to build your viewership. So do you really want to lose viewership and gain people that are just going to game with you? I don't know. Versus these people that have hundreds or thousands and thousands of people watching them, and then they're just getting bombarded with having all of these people bother them, right? And part of it is you probably can disable it and stuff, but I just don't see how it's really going to be this fun function outside of like your variety streamers that are like, okay, Wednesdays are going to be gaming with my fans, which people already do that, and they just do it manually where it's like, okay, add me as a friend and then I'll send you an invite.
Yeah, the way I conceive this in my mind is it would be almost like a personal lobby, maybe.
Yeah.
So let's just use a fighting game, for example. If someone's streaming a fighting game, they could say, hey, I'm opening this up to people that are viewing right now. If you want to get in and fight me, like, it's available. And I assume there'd be like a queue from there to play with the streamer staying in. That's my assumption of how this would work, and it would be really cool for that. But for other games, I just don't know how well that would work.
Yeah, and I think like that's a great example that already exists. And this just streamlines it, is how I look at it. So, all right, state share is the other function, which lets players easily share moments, so you can even share an exact link to that part of the game. So the way they explained this was you could be watching a certain level and want to play that exact spot, and they could share that link, and you could click on it and play that level. Now, part of me wonders, like, how does that work if I haven't progressed to that level? Does it let me like skip forward and just play that level, or do I have to have beaten that area or at least gotten up to that area before that? Like, does it play off my save file if I'm that person that wants to, play that shared link? I don't know. Interesting. Need to see more of it. Google is creating their own game studio. Stadia exclusive titles, Stadia Games and Entertainment. So they are not only working with the likes of Ubisoft, Epic, EA, and some others right out the gate, but they are going to be developing their own stuff.
Did you hear the rumors that they're working with Sega on the down low?
I did hear that Sega is looking. Yes, I did hear that. It could be exciting. It could not, because like the Sega that we all grew up with we haven't seen them in a long time, in the sense of like we're getting a lot of like
trash.
Yeah, shovelware. We're getting a lot of shovelware from Sega that, and I don't want to say it's all, because we've seen things like Sonic Mania and things like that have been cool and stuff, but I mean, and it is interesting because Sega just put out a weird survey that you can take. So you go to segaofamerica.com, and there's like it's like a 30-minute survey. I took it, and they wanted to know like your knowledge of their IPs, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. Like, it was very in depth, and so part of me is like, well, why this right now? And then that rumor came out, and I was like, I wonder if they're gearing up for something.
I mean, Phantasy Star, a Stadia exclusive. How quick do you buy Stadia?
Day one. Pre-ordered. Believe me, I left some long paragraphs in every box that I possibly could in that survey about Phantasy Star Online.
They're like, well, this guy's a weirdo.
Yeah, I probably came off really strange. Okay, Google says more than 100 studios are already have dev kits for Stadia, and more than 1,000 creatives and engineers are already working on titles that will work on the service. We didn't get an exact release date, but they are saying 2019 window. So those are the bullet points that I put down. There are obviously more stuff going on here. There's a lot of things that were interesting about this presentation, but those are some of the big ones for me. We'll know more with E3. We'll know, E3 will be that next big push, I think, for them, because that's when they're going to give us probably a real date. And we'll find out more then. So I don't want to dig too much into the facts. I want to get into our thoughts about this, because the reception of this was super positive. And that kind of surprised me, in the sense of how much people have hated on streaming services and streaming, just the video games in general of recent years. Thinking specifically right now of things like PlayStation Now and how it just hasn't done well. And so I know part of it is, if it doesn't work, it's not going to do well, and PlayStation Now has had tons of problems. But here we are, and I wanted to think the thoughts on being that this is really the next generation of gaming. We know Xbox is going to be at E3, and they're going to drop xCloud, which is the same thing that we're seeing here. We know Google is now shown their hand, and PlayStation already has something that they're working on improving. Nintendo doesn't necessarily have something like this, other than their game library via Nintendo Online in a way. But overall, this is the way we're moving. And for this to be the next generation of gaming, I have a statement I want to make. I don't like it. I finally feel old for maybe the first time where I don't want this to happen. And I think I kind of feel like maybe how Deadite felt when the music industry kind of took this direction and you started seeing your CD section, which you love spending so much time in, dwindle and dwindle. And that's what I don't want to see.
I still don't have Apple Music. I don't have Spotify Premium. I don't have any of that because I don't like it.
Yeah, this bothers me. And like as much positivity has been going on in our Discord, just talking about our community here, I don't want to like crap all over it. That's what I'm not trying to do. But at the same time, for me, the person, like if you've ever been to my game room, you know why I don't like this. Like I like buying the physical copy. I like like having the collection and feeling like there's ownership to it. And this takes all of that away and basically just creates a communication to a server that I'm going to play games on. And it's easy. I get that part of it. That's why I like the Switch for certain reasons. I like digital copies. But I'm also that person that if I buy it on digital copy and it does come out physical, I'll probably buy a physical and just put it on my shelf. And so, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this. I have a lot of questions coming from the IT field myself. I have a lot of questions as far as just performance, as far as handheld transporting, like actually going on an airplane, like unless I tie into the airplane's Wi-Fi, which again, airplane Wi-Fi is not capable of producing anything near the speed, so instantly I don't have games. Okay. What happens when I'm on a train or I'm in a car and I'm just jumping from, cell tower to cell tower on a hotspot? Like our infrastructure doesn't support this. So at my house, sure, but at my house I don't need necessarily this ease of use. There's a reason why the Switch works. It's because I get to take it with me, and it's easy for me to just fire up Rocket League, hop in a local party with you and game. Here I don't know. I just feel like it's too much. It's too much, and I don't like how positive the fan base is taking it already with not knowing anything. And that's just me being old, I think.
I'm interested to find out if this is going to be a subscription or if it's going to be there's going to be a store where you buy titles. They haven't said that yet, have they? We're assuming it's like a streaming subscription like PlayStation now, but they haven't come out and directly said, have they? If it's like a $20 a month or if it's you buy titles individually.
Oh no, they have not discussed how that structure is going to work. The thought process is that there might be both. There might be a Game Pass style thing or a way to own the game, but then you're buying a license, like you're buying a key to open a door that when their server goes off, that's it, and I don't know. It's no different than me owning a copy of Destiny 2 right now. If they shut their servers off, my disc doesn't do anything. Yeah. So, I mean, at the same time, I'm kind of not seeing the full picture when it comes to that, where a lot of my current gaming discs they are physical keys letting me into a server that runs my game.
I think some positive thoughts I have about this could potentially be longevity. I know you're like, oh, when they shut down the server, we're all screwed. But this is Google we're talking about. This could be a service they run for 15 or 20 years with, they just continue to upgrade the power of their server. So if you were to purchase a game this year in 2019, odds are as long as it's successful, you're going to be able to continue to play it. So there is, opposed to if you're buying something on PlayStation, the PlayStation store shuts down and your hardware craps out, you're going to lose that. You're going to lose the ability to play that digitally unless the future generations show that backwards compatibility. So I think longevity of your purchase, you might actually get more out of something that is server-based through Google. And also I have the idea where, I got to hang a TV over my fireplace here in, a couple months. I've been waiting a while to do it. I need some help to do it. And I'm going to run like an elaborate set of HDMI cords through my wall to my PlayStation and to my Switch to be able to play games on my TV that's mounted above my fireplace. How much nicer would it really be to just cast 4K games to my big ass TV and not have to worry about running a bunch of stuff through the wall? Like, to me, like, convenience, and there's situations where I see like that would actually be a really nice way to play video games on that TV. Convenience.
Yeah, I mean, it would, but then the second you buy into that, that's the only way you're playing games.
I have other TVs.
You have other TVs. I get that. I understand that, but like, you're only like, if you purchase Jurassic World Evolution and it was a brand new game and it cost full and it was a service that you paid for $60 for that game, then that's how you're playing that game. And you're going to play it on your Pixel, or you're going to play it on your TV, or you're going to cast it to, I don't know, your laptop. But you're not that person that's going to go out and buy a PlayStation version of that game and an Xbox version of that game and a Switch version of that game. Maybe a Switch version if your pixel performance isn't up to par. But to me, it's like, once you dive into that for the convenience of that one setup, you're in it now on all your setups. And that's what Google wants.
Yeah.
And to me, that bothers me. Like, right now I have the freedom of choice, and I mean, I will after this, but if you invest into that, it really motivates you to go all in the sense of, oh, well, I mean, I have this controller and I have this service that I paid for. You know, I might as well use it. Where, like, even though I pay for Game Pass, I'll go buy a physical copy of a video game on Xbox because it's still different. To me, it's like, if I want to download Forza to my Xbox and then pick my Xbox up and take it somewhere where I don't have internet access, I can, and I can sit down and still play Forza. I can't do that with Stadia. And, like, so there's a lot of those things that maybe once I get it and I use it, I'll be like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. This is actually really nice. But at the same time, I just still have that problem of everything that I'm giving money for is sitting in Google's building.
Yeah.
And never is anything actually being put into my hand. And that's where it's a little funky to me. And I've adjusted to music. I am that person that listens to all my music through Google Music. And my movies, I only purchase physical movies for, like, my very favorite things, like Marvel movies or Star Wars or something like that. But everything else, I kind of live off of a service that just streams it to me. And for some reason, this is that last thing I'm holding on to. This is that last, like, content created hard copy that I still care about. Like, there's a reason why I like collecting cartridges. There's a reason why, like, an SNES cartridge, when I find one, means so much to me. It's not because I necessarily can't wait to go throw it into an SNES and play it. It's the fact that I add it to the shelf and then I go, Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, Mega Man 4, this is awesome. And you can't do that with, like, I don't understand how people can look at Stadia or look at Steam. Let's even go back and say, I have $2,000 in my gaming library, or not 2,000. Sorry, I have over 2,000 games in my gaming library, and I'm like, oh wow, that's impressive. How long have you been collecting? Oh well, it's my Steam library, and I instantly go, oh, I don't care. I don't.
You're a loser. You didn't even leave your house.
It's not even a loser.
It's a loser.
It's just I don't care, and
nerd.
It instantly to me is like, yes, you can have a digital collection, but like, I never understood the idea. Like, I never even got into Hearthstone or anything like that, because when I want to play a card game, I want the card.
Yeah.
Like when we would play Pokemon, the card game, every pack of cards you'd get a digital pack.
Yeah.
I had a stack of these digital packs. I think I gave a lot of them to you and to somebody else because I was like, I don't care. I don't want that. I want the shiny foil physical card that even if I never play this game again, I'll throw it in the sleeve. I have it. Like, that's just the way I am.
But I'm wondering if you and I are becoming the vast minority of people that the thrill of collecting. Like, you're someone that likes collecting things. I like collecting things. I've had to, in the last few years, say I pretty much only collect music CDs and video games. Like, those are the two things, like, I focus on collecting. because it's a thrill. We like the thrill of the hunt. We like finding a deal on a game. We like adding the game to the shelf. We like building a physical gaming library. And I think that's something that as the next generation of gamers that's behind us, these Fortnite kids, as they get older, they're not going to give a crap about having a GameCube game they played when they were a kid. They're not going to buy into the nostalgia. They're going to just enjoy the games as a service. So I think we're a dying breed of guys that are into that as a hobby. I would call video game collecting a hobby outside of just being a video game player.
We are only a dying breed because the industry is building themselves up so that next generation that you're talking about never even knew what collecting was.
I think that's true.
And so, like, when you think of it that way, it's fake. It's fabricated in the sense of the corporations, the industry is shaping this so that they can have that games as a service and have that one game that lasts 10 years and just evolves instead of having to worry about producing 10 games over 10 years like they did for us. You know, it was like you bought Earthworm Jim 1 and you didn't get another game until you got Earthworm Jim 2. And that, you know, and now that they don't have to do it that way anymore, they don't want to because it does cost a ton more money and investment and time and all that. But here I am being an old dude person and saying that's the way I like it. That's the way I want the gaming industry to at least give me the option, right? Like, I play digital games. I buy digital games. I joined a service for gaming. It's called Game Pass on Xbox. I pay for it every month. There are months that go by that I don't even use it, and I pay them my $10. So I'm not saying that I'm anti and will not use the service, but I also don't like the idea that it could potentially eliminate the other part of it that I like so much.
Yeah, you're just you're disappointed that a thing you love is being phased out. It's the same way I still feel about CDs. I still get sad every time I go to Best Buy and see that they don't sell them anymore. It makes me sad. It's taken away something in my life I enjoyed doing. Yeah. It's a bummer. And I'm 100% with you. I download games. I'm going to talk about a game I downloaded a ton later in our GameZilla update. And, you know, it's an unfortunate way the industry's going, but there's nothing we can do to stop it other than you and I continuing to buy physical games, just like I still order CDs off Amazon. You know, we're still going to do it, but, you know, we're in the minority, and, you know, you can't uncork that. You can't uncork that drain.
There'll always be Nintendo, there'll always be the retro games to collect. It's weird to start to think about this next generation or maybe even the generation after that where there might not be physical library to collect.
Yeah.
So then it comes down to, what do I collect? The different limited edition controllers they make, and that's it. You know, like, what is it that I end up collecting at that point? So I don't know. This is a good topic. We've been talking a lot about it in our Discord, so feel free. GameZillaMedia.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll find the Discord button. You can join for free, talk with gamers from around the world every day, and we've been talking about this in our Gaming General channel a ton, but I don't want to spend much more time on it. I do want to mention that Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, came out and congratulated Google for their presentation and said that he was very thrilled and reinforced that the decision they made 2 years ago as Xbox is the right decision, and that Google went hard this weekend. We have a month, basically, or a couple months, and then we get to show off at E3. So it didn't seem to shake him at all. It didn't seem to worry him at all. If anything, it just basically said, cool, it'll be our turn next. And I'm excited to see what xCloud has to bring, and maybe make my decision if I'm a Stadia or an xCloud, day one purchaser. But
Phil's a classy dude, man. I like Phil.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
I mean, after GDC, he literally tweeted out, like, just wrapped up GDC. I love this weekend where everybody gets to share all this knowledge and really push the industry and blah, blah. Like, it's always that from him. It's super positive, and you really don't. There's always competition, but you don't necessarily see it as like a reason why he's doing things. He keeps that behind doors.
It doesn't feel like the 90s where Sega and Nintendo were always like at each other's throat. Phil, I mean, it might be because like he's revitalize the Xbox brand into being something that's looking really great, it's easy to be confident and kind when you know you're doing the right things.
Absolutely. And then my last thing, I did want to say my favorite little like Easter egg from the presentation that Google had. The bottom of the controller. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Bottom of the controller had a label on it, like we're used to. It has a serial code on it, or whatever. This one had the Konami code on it from Contra. So it was a cool Easter egg. No one really knows why it was there. I don't know if it'll be on the final product or not, but it was cool. Maybe they'll release a special edition, where they make so many copies that has that on the back of the controller. But that was kind of cool. I did like that for whatever, if it was just an Easter egg, cool. If there's something more to it, like they're working with Konami and have an announcement, we'll find out at E3 probably. But that's about it. I think the last statement we'll have with this is that last second, as we were prepping this show, Apple did drop news that they are also throwing their hat in the ring for some new gaming services. Very different. But Apple is also starting to see this opportunity, and they're throwing in with the
Apple Arcade.
Apple Arcade, yeah. So, and that'll be something where you pay a flat price and you get like hundreds of games. It's more of a Game Pass, like what Xbox is doing, than it is necessarily a streaming service. But we'll see where it goes.
Okay.